Amidst the escalating conflict, a new figure emerged from the shadows, Queen Catriona, head of the Sentinels and the newly crowned Queen of the Waitus Watus dynasty. Her arrival marked a turning point in the struggle. Known for her strategic brilliance and unyielding resolve, Catriona was a beacon of hope for the oppressed. Under her leadership, the Sentinels gained a renewed sense of purpose. The Republic and the dynasty were now at odds, each side preparing for the fierce battles that lay ahead. The galaxy found itself on the brink of an all-out war, with entire star systems pledging their allegiance to either the Republic or the dynasty. Amidst the chaos, a single term echoed through the galaxy, reverberating in the hearts of every being: hue and cry. This ancient call to arms signaled the mobilization of forces on both sides. It was a cry for freedom, a cry for domination, a cry that would shape the future of the galaxy. As the Sentinels rallied under Queen Catriona's banner, Zhang's paranoia deepened. He saw Catriona not just as an adversary, but as a personal threat to his reign. The battle lines were drawn, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The rise of the Waitus Watus dynasty had begun, and with it, the final chapter of this galactic conquest. The stage was set for an epic confrontation. The Sentinels, driven by the spirit of rebellion, faced off against the iron-fisted rule of Zhang. The galaxy watched with bated breath as the two forces clashed, each fight, each skirmish a step closer to determining the ultimate victor. The hue and cry had been heard, and there was no turning back. The struggle for freedom continued, and with Queen Catriona leading the charge, the Sentinels believed that victory was within their grasp. The legend of the Waitus Watus dynasty was being written in the stars, one battle at a time. Gap 3s. The battlefield was a cacophony of clashing swords and blaster fire. The Waitus Watus dynasty and the Republic were locked in a fierce struggle for dominance. Amidst the chaos, Zhang and Queen Catriona faced off, their eyes burning with determination. "This ends now," Zhang declared, raising his weapon. "For the dynasty!" Catriona shouted, charging forward. Gap 2s. The clash of their weapons echoed across the battlefield, a testament to the epic confrontation between two powerful leaders. Each strike, each parry, was filled with the weight of their respective causes. Zhang fought with the ferocity of a ruler determined to maintain his grip on power, while Catriona's every move embodied the hope and resolve of the oppressed. Gap 2s. Around them, the battle raged on. Soldiers from both sides fought with all their might, the air thick with the sounds of war. The ground trembled under the weight of the conflict, and the sky was lit with the brilliant flashes of blaster fire. It was a scene of chaos and destruction, but also one of resolve and unyielding courage. Gap 2s. In a moment of heightened tension, Zhang managed to disarm Catriona, her weapon clattering to the ground. He raised his blade, ready to strike the final blow. But in the split second before he could, Catriona, with a burst of agility and determination, seized a fallen blaster and aimed it at Zhang. "For freedom," she whispered, pulling the trigger. Gap 2s. The shot rang out, hitting Zhang squarely in the chest. He staggered, his eyes wide with shock and pain, before collapsing to the ground. The battlefield fell silent as the soldiers on both sides turned to witness the fall of their leader. Zhang's reign had come to an end. Gap 2s. Queen Catriona stood tall, her chest heaving with the exertion of battle. "The Waitus Watus dynasty will rise," she declared, her voice echoing across the battlefield. "We will build a future of freedom and justice." Her words were met with a resounding cheer from the Sentinels, their spirits lifted by the victory. Gap 2s. The fall of Zhang marked the beginning of a new era. The Waitus Watus dynasty, under the leadership of Queen Catriona, would strive to bring peace and prosperity to the galaxy. The legend of their struggle, their victory, and their rise would be remembered for generations to come. The galaxy once again had hope. Gap 3s. And so the epic saga of the Waitus Watus dynasty came to a close, not with the silence of defeat, but with the resounding cry of triumph. The future was theirs to shape, their legacy written in the stars. Gap 3s. Just as the galaxy began to heal from the wounds of war, a new threat loomed on the horizon. From the shadows, the Imperium of Candia emerged, its banners dark and foreboding. Led by the formidable Emperor Alexandrius, the Imperium was a force unlike any the galaxy had ever faced. Gap 2S. The future of the Waitus Watus dynasty hung in the balance as Emperor Alexandrius made his intentions clear. He sought not just to conquer, but to dominate, to bring the galaxy under his iron rule. His armies, vast and unyielding, spread across the stars, leaving a trail of fear and submission in their wake. Gap 2S. Within the Waitus Watus Republic, a new dictator rose to power, exploiting the chaos and uncertainty. The once hopeful and liberated people found themselves under the oppressive grip of a regime that mirrored the tyranny they had just overthrown. The galaxy, it seemed, was once again on the brink of turmoil. Gap 2S. Queen Catriona, now the symbol of hope and resistance, gathered her allies. The Sentinels, though weary from their recent victory, stood ready to defend their newfound freedom. "We cannot let darkness prevail," Catriona declared, her voice resolute. "We will stand against the Imperium of Candia, and we will fight for the galaxy's future." Gap 2S. The galaxy braced for an uncertain and tumultuous future. The battles ahead would be fierce, the challenges immense. But as long as there were those willing to stand and fight for justice and freedom, there was hope. Gap 2S. And so the saga continued, with new heroes rising to meet the threats that emerged from the shadows. The legend of the Waitus Watus dynasty would endure, their story one of unyielding courage and relentless determination. The stars, once again, bore witness to the struggle for the soul of the galaxy. Gap 3S. The future was uncertain, but the spirit of resistance burned brightly. The Waitus Watus dynasty, under the leadership of Queen Catriona, would face the Imperium of Candia with all the strength and resolve they could muster. The galaxy's fate hung in the balance, and the battle for its future had only just begun.